Oh, righty. You are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. And why are the Washington Commanders 0-16? Because they suck. It gets me every time. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away, throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. But plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free to fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, at the very top link in the description box, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level I got is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. And I thank you so much in advance. Thank you. If also in the description box below, there is 2 additional links. The top link is my Facebook group, and then there's one right underneath that, which takes you to my Twitter account. I put some stuff in the Twitter account every day. So if you want to, follow me on Twitter, I will follow you back. To me, it's Twitter, whatever Elon Musk wants to call it this week or whatever this month, whatever letter of the alphabet he wants to call it. To me, it's Twitter. It's always been Twitter. It'll always will be Twitter. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, I will follow you back. That's a promise. And also then the other link in the description box takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. We have over 6,900 members in the group. It's growing all the time. It's doing absolutely fantastic. Pretty much I put stuff in there pretty much every day. If I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in the group basically 365. And not only do I put stuff in here, but the members post stuff in here as well. So it's the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a group. It's growing. It's doing fantastic. Join it. You won't be disappointed. All right. With all that stuff said and done and out of the way with, well, I mean, the Giants, they got so many guys coming in. It's just simply amazing. I mean, that's the way it is. It's like all the time, basically, guys coming in and going all that. But they had to part ways. It's just, with Cole Beasley, kind of like a little bit, he got injured, kind of like a little bit of the forgotten man. But they kind of parted ways with him, I guess. I mean, I don't want to jinx nobody. I don't want to jinx nothing there, especially the Giants, especially with their injuries. But I mean, seems, I don't know, like every year, like we just get maybe not decimated sometimes, but I mean, it's just like sometimes seems like almost like every year we get like a positional group that just gets just nail kind of hard. You know what I mean? Like last year, like we had Bellinger, right? It was Colin Johnson in preseason. Whereas Wan'Dale Robinson, Sterling Shepard, you know what I mean? So, I mean, like last year was maybe kind of like the receiver kind of group and all of that. We've had receiver groups totally decimated before in the past, but this year, obviously, it's the offensive line. But if you go back to like last year, where how we had some problems there, keeping guys healthy. And, I thought it was just, honestly, I just thought it really would be a matter of time before Cole Beasley would get, because I'm like, oh, well, somebody's going to get injured. We're going to get a few guys injured, and then we'll need Cole Beasley, So, I mean, I said, once again, I don't want to jinx anybody. Sterling Shepard, he hasn't played much, but, he gets injured, right? Wan'Dale Robinson got injured a couple times last year, so he's coming back. He stays kind of healthy. Waller, he's kind of an injury well, I'm not going to say waiting to happen, but he's had some injury issues. Thankfully, he's been relatively healthy, So we've been on the wide receiver kind of slash tight end, positional group. We've been kind of healthy. Not so much on the offensive line, but so they had to part ways with Cole Beasley. And let's see here. There you go, buddy. I got this article from the New York Post. Cole Beasley won't be the answer to the Giants' search for offense. Beasley asked for and was granted his release from the practice squad, the Post confirmed, after not playing in a regular season game. I understand. The guy's 30-something years old, 33 or whatever it is. He came here to play. And, I don't blame him. He's just going to be sitting, he's, sitting on the practice squad. I guess, it's like, dude, I guess sure he doesn't need the money or whatever like this. It's like, let me just get out of here. So there was no path to the field for Beasley, 34. Okay. Given that the Giants already have de-emphasized the roles of veterans Isaiah Hodgins, Sterling Shepard, and Paris Campbell. Yeah, in favor of developing rookie Hyatt, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Darius Slayton. Shepard played one offensive snap as a run blocker, and Campbell 0 in the Week 5 loss to Buffalo. So, between what do we got? Between Paris Campbell and Sterling Shepard, between the two guys, they played one snap last week. So I said, I have a lot of respect for Cole, Dable said Friday before Friday's practice. Just decided that both parties had a good conversation and he won't be on the practice squad. So, he won't be on the practice. But, I guess maybe he asked for his release. I don't blame him. It said it would have been difficult, maybe interpreted by the locker room as favoritism. And that's understandable. I can see that, right? For the Giants to elevate Beasley and get him snaps ahead of the others on the 53-man roster, especially, if you bring him up and get snaps in front of, especially Sterling Shepard. Yeah. Beasley started the season on injury reserve after hurting his quad midway through training camp. He was released before the season, re-signed to the practice squad, and moved from injury reserve on October 10th. Dable said he's healthy, so, hey, maybe he might latch on with somebody else. Right? But Beasley didn't get elevated to the active roster to play against the Bills, which is his former team. So that might have been a little bit of a gut punch to him. Let's see here. And then, of course, and you got a point there. It said, he didn't get, elevated to play against his former team, even as the Giants have gone 205 straight minutes without scoring, I guess, an offensive touchdown. How pathetic is that? He briefly retired last season, but expressed a desire to keep playing over the summer. So he has 556 career catches and 34 touchdowns. So it is interesting that Beasley asked out when times are toughest for Dable. The two built a close relationship over 3 seasons together with the Bills, each of which resulted in more than 100 targets for Beasley. So he said, Dable said, I'll keep our private conversations private. So, and Beasley's played 153 games with 51 starts across 11 seasons with the Cowboys, the Bills, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, but, it is what it is. What it is, what it is. It's one. I said the one thing is that the Giants they brought in a ton of guys. As I said, it was just kind of the one weird thing is that what I always kind of expect. It's like the way we kind of got decimated last year. I thought it would be a good chance Beasley would get elevated because, I'm just going by what happened last year. We had some injuries to the wide receivers. Now, of course, after he got to let go, we'll probably want to have some injuries. But, we had some injuries there last season. So I was kind of thinking, well, things might happen like that and he might get elevated. But It is what it is. So no more Cole Beasley. And speaking of no more, Jamison Crowder, right? Because he's with what? He's with the Commanders. And apparently he's doing pretty well with them. Well, shall I say, he's doing well, but punt returning, which is one of the problems the Giants kind of have had since, I guess, like since Dave Meggett left, I guess. We going back like maybe 1990 or somewhere around there, huh? So Crowder's been doing pretty good. Now, apparently, I mean, it seems like the Giants are really trying to, get Eric Gray, to become, I guess, the punt returner of the future, possibly for the Giants. But Crowder's doing pretty good. For Giants speedster, now flourishing with the Commanders, is a sick joke. Joe Schoen is probably really regretting the veteran wideout, letting the veteran wideout go this offseason. Were people born to play for the New York Giants not impressed and then turn into absolute studs the second they leave East Rutherford? That's how things feel sometimes. Take veteran Jamison Crowder as the latest example. While he's not putting on a show for the Commanders' offense, he has 2 receptions this season. That's all he has. So he's been a rock star on special teams for the New York Rivals in his return work. So he's somebody, I tell you what, he's, if he's got a chance to return a punt, he's going to want to take it to the house. And he almost did it against the Falcons, but he's going to want to take it to the house and shove it in the face of the Giants for letting him go. Oh, yeah, you want to let me go? All right, well, I just scored a touchdown on you. How you like me now, huh? Crowder has consistently been a standout for Washington this season, highlighted by him taking home the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week honors. And of course, it says, you've got to be kidding. Yep. Punt returner. Jamison Crowder playing well for the Commanders feels like a gut punch for the Giants. Crowder signed with the Giants this past offseason, but general manager Joe Schoen ended up releasing him this summer. Now, that was one of the things. I mean, we had Colin Johnson go, we let Jamison Crowder go. We didn't have any room for Cole Beasley. It's like, man, we got a star-studded. Well, I say stars. We got a packed wide receiver group, right? So we got Colin Johnson go. I said, some of these other guys. Crowder was originally signed by Washington to the practice squad, but was elevated to the active roster on September 11th. It didn't take long for him to start making a head-turning impact on special teams for them. His kind of speed and elusiveness on returns is exactly what the Giants are missing right now, Eric Gray's got some elusiveness, but he doesn't necessarily maybe have the speed of a Jamison Crowder. And, of course, as we said, rookie Eric Gray isn't getting the job done. Just imagine if the Giants had someone like this, and then they show the video, Crowder returning it 61 yards down to the Falcons' 10-yard line. He got caught from behind now. He was in the open. I mean, he had like a couple yards on like everybody, but as he was running, somebody came from behind and caught him and dragged him down at the 10-yard line. It says on that 61-yard return in the win over the Falcons last week, and Crowder showcased his blazing speed, and he was only a couple of inches away from avoiding the last Falcon player to go all the way to the end zone. Regardless, Crowder flipped the field for his side, and he put the offense in a beautiful position to put points on the board. Now, I tell you what, I mean, it was a very nice return, very, very nice return. He made a move or two, whatever, and put his foot and just went north and south. And, that's something where we haven't really seen this year so far from Eric Gray. Now, the thing is, Eric, he's backup running back, right? He's our draft pick. We're trying to get him to, become our, full-time punt returner. It said Crowder. Let's see here. He has 2 receptions for 21 yards, right? But he's returned 8 punts for 114 yards, 14 points per yard return. So you figure if you take that 61-yard away, he has set, I mean, it's still not bad. I mean, it's, what is that, 39, 49, 53. So it'd be 7 for 53. So he still has about, if you take that one away, he's still averaging almost 8 yards of return. So, it's not too bad. Eric Gray, on the other hand, is averaging 4.7 yards of return. 6 returns for 28 yards, 4 point. And yeah, I mean, and the thing is that, he's, he doesn't look comfortable all the time. He lunging, for the ball to try to catch it. He does not look. Hopefully, it's just a matter of time and practice and all that before Eric Gray starts maybe getting a hang of it and start becoming better. But it's been anything but so far, and it's just kind of a little bit of slap in the face because you had Jamison Crowder on your team, you let him go, and now he's doing decently, punt returning wise, right, with another team, and it just happens to be that we're playing them this Sunday at 1:00. So that's going to be something to keep your eye on. When the Scottish Hammer lays into a punt, and if Mr. Crowder's on the other end, if he has a chance to return it, he's going to return it. And he's fast. You've seen him on that punt return. He's fast. He's got some moves. So Giants got the work cut out for him. So, and you certainly don't want to get embarrassed having a guy on your team, letting him go, and then he winds up bringing one back to the house. So hopefully that won't happen. Oh boy. So we got the injury report here right now. So the Giants, I think last week had 17 or 18 guys on their injury report. Yeah. Oh yeah. We're really doing good. Well, this week they have less. However, a couple of these guys that aren't on this list are now on IR. Zudu and Lemieux. So the Giants have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Hold on. I know there's more than that. 13. 14 guys listed, and then there's 2 guys went on injury reserve. So I think last week, they had 17, and now this week they're down to 14, but 2 of them are on injury reserve. So basically we went down maybe 1 guy or so. Now the Commanders are not without their injuries themselves. I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They got 9 guys listed. However, they got 1 guy, basically, Kendall Fuller, who did not participate, who was limited in practice on Friday with a knee. Other than that, they got guys who have injuries, all right, but they're all full participation in practice on Friday. So, basically it looks like the Commanders have like 1 guy who it had nobody questionable, nobody out, nobody doubtful, nothing. So it looks like even Kendall Fuller might wind up playing. So, they may not have anybody injured. Hard to believe, right? The Giants play a team that has nobody injured, and the Giants have 312 guys injured. Absolutely amazing. But let's see what we got. Adoree Jackson is questionable with his neck. Daniel Jones, he's still questionable with his neck. Now, I have a hard time believing, really. Daboll keeps talking about, obviously, of course, it's the way it is, when Daniel Jones gets cleared, right, for contact, hopefully maybe he'll be good to go. But it's just, if it was like yesterday, so and all, if he was not cleared for contact, and we're talking the neck, one day he's not cleared, and the next day he's going to be cleared for full contact and quite possibly maybe getting sacked and hit 10, 15 times. I don't know about that. So I kind of highly doubt that he's going to want to play in this week. But they got him questionable. Let's see, and of course, then we got 3 offensive linemen who are out. Another one's questionable, and then we put 2 other guys on injured reserve. Of course, Zudu's on injured reserve, Lemieux's on injured reserve. Evan Neal is questionable with an ankle. He did not participate in Friday, right? Then, of course, Matt Parrott's out. Michael Schmitz is out. Andrew Thomas is out. Absolute freaking amazing. God. Wandale Robinson, he was full participation. Barkley, he was limited, but I mean, I'm sure that's just like, just giving him some rest. Cordell Flott, he was full participation. Graham Gano, he was limited with the left knee. Glowinski, he was full participation. Thank goodness. Gary Brightwell, with ankle, full participation. DJ Davidson, he was full participation. He's got a knee. And Trey Hawkins, the third, he was full participation. He's got a knee. So I'll tell you what, it's every week, simply amazing. I mean, how the Giants every week. I mean, just the injuries every week. We're not either getting the guys back, because either we have a bunch of guys and then maybe we play a game, but maybe nobody else really gets injured, but we got a bunch of the guys that are still injured. Or when guys do start coming back, that's when we play another game and more guys keep getting injured. You seem like you just can't win this season. All right, so now there's some things to watch here, right? Against the Commanders. First of all, okay, one. I mean, without question. Now whether this one here is absolutely huge. Okay, is Saquon. Now, whether he whether he gets the ball or not, just having him on the field is huge, right? Having him behind whoever the quarterback is now, of course, I'm sure he's lost a step, whatever you want to call it, half a step, whatever you want. He's not the same as he was, when he was a rookie. Of course, we have the issues, of course, right, with the offensive line. So, so it's going to be tough for him to wind up, for him to break anything. He had a couple of nice long runs against the Bills, and that's why you keep feeding the ball. I mean, if you take those 2 runs away that he had, okay, against those 2 long runs that he had, you take it, those 2 runs. I mean, he's averaging like almost nothing, really. But that's why you keep feeding the ball. It's not going to be like, at the end of the game, he averaged 4 yards a carry. Oh, okay, he averaged 4 yards. So every time we give him the ball, he's going to average 4 yards. No, that's not. It never happens that way. It's not. He doesn't get 3, then he gets 5, then he gets 4, then he gets 5, then he gets 4, then he gets 3, then he gets 3, then he gets 5, then he gets 4, then he gets 3, then maybe 2, then he gets 6, and he gets 4. No. It's 1, it's 0, it's -1, it's 2, it's 1, it's this, 3, boom, boom, 26, 1, 2, 3. I mean, that's why you keep feeding the ball, because sometimes, especially sometimes as the game goes along, right, those holes in the first quarter may be that big, right? There's no room. So you keep running the ball, those holes get about that big in the second quarter. Keep running the ball in the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, they start getting a lot bigger. But to be able to do that, you have to be in the game, and it really helps to be ahead as the Giants were, because let's not forget the Bills didn't score the 2 touchdowns until the fourth quarter. But I mean, Saquon, without question, is huge in this game. Just have him on the field is absolutely huge. All right. This is Yahoo Sports. Yahoo! Everything with the Giants on offense is centered around Barkley. Barkley missed 3 games with an ankle injury, but returned last week against the Bills. While the New York only scored 9 points, Barkley, running behind a makeshift offensive line, still managed to rush for 93 yards. As I said, so behind that offensive line, for him to get 93 yards is still pretty darn impressive. But as I said, the only way he was able to get those 93 is because we were in the game, especially we had a lead. Barkley's numbers through 3 games aren't overwhelming. Don't tell it to the Commanders, because they've had a hard time stopping the run. Even with their impressive front 4, they have a hard time stopping the run this year. Right? But as the Commanders know, they all know all too well how dangerous Barkley is every time he touches the football, which is absolutely true. A healthy Barkley is arguably the best running back in the NFL, which is, yep. Darren Waller. Darren Waller was supposed to transform the offense. The Giants re-signed Daniel Jones, who went into the offense off-season planning on adding weapons for him. The top acquisition was Waller, who leads the Giants with 28 receptions. So you figure after what is that? What was 6 games in? You figure it's 6. He's on pace for like 70 receptions, somewhere around there. So, right? But he has yet to resemble the player who is one of the NFL's best tight ends in 2019 and 2020. He remains a dangerous weapon and will be heavily targeted regardless of who plays quarterback. Yep. Absolutely. Another guy we got to keep, to watch out for, I think would be huge here is Sexy Dexy, the sexy one. Dexter Lawrence is one of the NFL's best defensive tackles. Lawrence had his best professional season in 2022 with 7.5 sacks. However, Lawrence can take over games by completely shutting down an opponent's running game. The Commanders will pass more, but every time they choose to run, they must account for Lawrence. Now, also, let's not forget that one thing is with Hal, okay? He likes to hold on to the ball. Now, it's going to be interesting to see, what, and we're going to go over some stats here in just a moment about what Wink. The pressure rate's been coming down, his blitzing rate, should I say. It's been coming down a little bit. We're not number 2 anymore. But I said, how he likes to hold on to the ball. You stand in there, right? That's why he gets sacked a lot. But he also, he's if you take away his one game against the Bills, I think I heard he has 9 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions. Pretty good. Throws the ball well. Has lots of yards. As I said, I take that Bill game away. He threw 4 interceptions. But he stands in the pocket. So that might work well for the Giants' front 4. We got somebody who can maybe stand in the pocket a little bit longer. Maybe Wink may not want to blitz as much, get some guys back in coverage, right? And maybe have Hal hold on to the ball even a little bit longer. But Dexter Lawrence pushing the pocket could be huge. Although Hal likes to run and he's mobile, so if you push the pocket, it's going to be very important to try to keep some type of containment. Don't give him anywhere to go. Push the pocket, right, and have it collapse so he doesn't have anywhere to go. That would be huge, absolutely huge. So, but I mean, Dexter Lawrence, like to see him come up big. Of course, then we have Yahoo Sports. Next guy they're talking about here, some of the Giant players to keep an eye on. Bobby Okereke. I tell you what, this guy, the first couple of weeks, it was kind of like, is Okereke on the field? I mean, I think he had 2 tackles. Was that all he had? I mean, where is he? This is a guy we got from the Colts last year, right? The guy who had 17 sacks against the Giants when that was the same guy, right? And we paid him $10 million. Are we sure about that? Sure it wasn't $1 million. But the dude is earning. He's coming on. I'll tell you what. And between last week, between McFadden, I'm not saying McFadden's an All-Pro, Hall of Fame, and all like that, but McFadden's not doing bad, right? Between Okereke and McFadden, the 2 of them had the highest grade according to PFF on the defense. Okereke was like a 90. McFadden was in 87. And I'm not saying they're going to grade out this well against the Commanders, but, they did pretty well. They did pretty darn well. But Okereke, all over the field, tackles all over but also creating turnovers, which the Giants need big time. And if we can get a couple turnovers, if we can stay ahead of if we can win the turnover margin, that would be huge in this game for the Giants. Absolutely huge. And I'll tell you what, Okereke has been a monster the past couple of weeks as far as creating turnovers. Linebacker Bobby Okereke was a big-time free agent addition, but the Giants now he has often ignored paying big money to a linebacker. Yep, or drafting a linebacker early on, right? Caracay signed a 4-year deal with the Giants and leads the team in tackles. Also has an interception and 2 forced fumbles. So Caracay was everywhere against Buffalo. The Commanders saw Caracay with the Colts last season, but this was the first time they faced him as the Giant. And then, of course, Deonte Banks. Now, he could wind up being huge because, a lot of times, the Commanders / Washington football team / Redskins / whatever else you want to call them. Sometimes during games they'll have a guy who'll just really do really well against the Giants, especially in the receiving game. And if maybe I don't know if Wink is going to have Banks cover one of their receivers specifically or not, but Banks has done pretty darn well so far this season. So it'd be very, very important for, I think, him, because especially, Howell's done well passing. If we can get, Banks to step up and have a good game, that could be huge. That could be huge for the Giants. That's it. Now we got also, this is interesting too. Banks and Emmanuel Forbes were compared to one another for years. Forbes was benched by the Commanders in week 6, while Banks picked eight spots later, has been steady for the Giants, very steady for the Giants. But he'll have his hands full with McLaurin, very good wide receiver, on Sunday. But it should be a fun matchup to watch. Yeah. So, sometimes McLaurin, he's a very good wide receiver. It's going to be good for Banks. But it was interesting when I heard that on Big Blue Kickoff Live. They were talking about, because I sometimes I don't get to see all the games, or I don't hear all the news and stuff like that. And they were talking about Forbes got benched. I'm like, wow, really? So not only did we pick the right guy, right, Banks, but we got him after they picked. So, see, this is also one of those things too. Okay. As I mentioned in one of my other videos, right? If say we lose to the Jets, and we're 2-6, and things aren't, things aren't, playoffs aren't really looking, in our future. And I look into our crystal ball, right? This is the things that you want to look for just try, I know I want to jump out a window watching some of this stuff. We can't score. We can't win. Every time we even do a quarterback sneak, 75 guys of our guys get injured. We got to run, Oh, why is Michael Schmitz? Why is he on IR? Well, we ran a quarterback sneak and his shoulders popped out of his skin. It's like, why? It's just unbelievable. It's nothing except for the second half against the Cardinal game. Nothing's gone right. If you go back to the first drive of the season, right? We drive down and you get the false start, and you get the bad snap, and now Graham Gano's trying to kick a longer field goal, gets blocked, run back for a touchdown, right? Graham Gano somebody gets steps on his foot or his ankle or something, like he gets cleated or whatever it is. Andrew Thomas, bam, pops his hamstring trying to follow it. It's just been down in the toilet ever since then, right? So, it's like can't catch a break, right? But like with Banks and a Caracay, right? Guys like that, things like that. It's like, try to find something I know to be positive about, right? We got a Caracay from 4 seasons, right? He's really doing good, really. McFadden's not doing too bad. McFadden's taking a nice jump from last year, right? So he's looking. I tell you what, if he gets maybe a little bit better, a little more experience and knowledge, but if you can get a Caracay and McFadden next to each other for a couple years, right? Just think what you might have in the middle there. I said, but with Banks, maybe start looking for. It's tough. Things to be positive about. Things for next season. I know it's tough, but I said, look back. Banks. I'm not saying he's Deion Sanders. I'm not saying that, but for our first round, we got ourselves a cornerback. We have ourselves a cornerback. Now, of course, Adoree, the good and the bad, right? We have ourselves for next year. a cornerback. Adoree Jackson might be gone. I'm not sure with Trey Hawkins if he's going to be able to, avert back to being a starter or not. We don't know. But we do know we got Deonte Banks, a young, very impressive human being, somebody you want to have on your team, and he's a very good cornerback. We have a cornerback, right? We have a tackle. We got trying to find some of the positive things. I know if we let Adoree Jackson go, we're probably going to need another cornerback and all that stuff and everything, but just try to look for some things positive for the future. We have a few building blocks to build forward, build with going forward. And then there was a couple of these numbers here I've seen. Now, this goes to show you is that, what Wink, his, we're down to, not necessarily down to, but 38.3% blitz rate. The Giants defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, went to college called Defiance and calls defense like it. In the modern NFL, where zone coverages reign supreme, Martindale plays a lot of man-to-man and likes to blitz. He has sent extra pass rushes 38.3% of the time this season, the fourth highest rate. Now, I think we were the second highest rate like a couple of weeks ago. So we've come down a little bit. And nearly half of them have come on second down. He likes to blitz a lot on second down. The real results have not been great. The Giants' blitzes haven't generated, we don't have a ton of sacks. The blitzes haven't generated many sacks and tackles for loss and have allowed a bunch of explosive plays, which would be 13. Can Sam Howell, who has struggled against the pass rush this season, make consistent, quick decisions against Martindale's blitzes? Now, as I said, he likes to hold on to the ball. So, one thing, it'd be interesting to see how Wink, does it. He said a lot of those blitzes are on second down. But if Howell likes to hold on to the ball, right, does he want to keep more guys in coverage? Right, to maybe have him hold on to the ball a little bit longer, and I think maybe we can get home with our 4, right? Or does he want to, have Howell drop back to pass? Send an extra rusher or 2 or whatever, try to confuse the heck out of him, try to maybe have him get rid of the ball a little bit faster and have him cause some mistakes. Be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see a little bit of interesting chess match to watch this week. Then, of course, then this other thing is one of the things is you go like with the Giants' problem as far as maybe scoring some points. Their air yards per attempt is not very impressive. Whether it's Jones or Taylor, the Giants' passing attack likely will be mostly short throws because obviously that has a lot to do with the offensive line, the porous offensive line, shall we say. Jones and Taylor have each averaged 6.4 air yards per attempt, which is the second lowest rate among all passers with at least 50 attempts this season. Joe Burrow's is the lowest at 6.1 yards per air attempt. But Dable still will dial up some deep threat shots. The Giants have attempted 15 passes of 20 or more air yards this season. And a strong majority of them have come between the 35-yard line. It's going to be interesting to see what the Giants try to do. As far as running, can we score a touchdown? Can we stay in the game? Because then if you stay in the game, everything's still open. The play action, the run, the short pass, the deep pass, everything's still, you start falling behind and then you got to start trying to catch up and everything. I think on Big Blue Kickoff Live, it was kind of comical. What was this? What was it? 38-0 or 37? The Bills are creaming the Commanders, 37-0, something like that. And then I think the Commanders marched down the field and they got whatever to the 20-yard line. So they need like 35 touchdowns to come from behind. They decided to kick a field goal, I guess, to maybe not get shut out. So they kicked the field goal. So they lost, was it 37-3, 38-3, whatever it was. They totally got killed. But other than that one game, that was a bad game for the Commanders. Other than that, I think Big Blue Kickoff Live, if it serves me correctly, they said that the Commanders scored at least, I think it was 19 or 20 points in every other game so far this season. So they put up points. The Giants going to have to put up some points. I'm not saying, I'm not saying they're going to put up 35 on us or something like that, but there's a good chance. I mean, the Giants' defense is certainly past couple weeks. I mean, against Seattle, right? Miami, all right, but Seattle, and this past weekend against Buffalo did a very good job. I can see us doing a decent job here and trying and limiting. I'm not shutting the command. I have a hard time believing we're going to shut them out, but at least limiting the damage, shall we say? But the Giants have to score some points. We're not winning this with 9 field goals. That's not happening. We got to put the ball in the end zone, right? But we have to, stay in the game, right? And so then I said that keeps everything open, especially if you have Saquon in the backfield. That's huge, especially if you can just keep, trying to maybe feed him. Those 1 and 2 yard runs in the first quarter turned into much bigger runs, possibly in the fourth quarter. So it's going to be a lot of interesting, very, very interesting. But at least we know it's certainly a winnable game for the New York Football Giants. So I'll be back again tomorrow. We'll do a preview and prediction. Once again, I think I've only lost to one. I think I was stupid enough. I actually thought the Giants were going to beat the Cowboys the opening week. Right? So we're 1-1. So we're 1-5. So I'm 5-1. 5-1. Just call it not against the point spread. I can't pick the game across my life against the point spread. But so I think I'm 5-1. I think I've predicted every other game. I think correct this week. So we'll have another preview and a prediction tomorrow night before the 1 o'clock game on Sunday. Doesn't that feel good? A 1 o'clock game on Sunday, huh? They actually play Sunday 1 o'clock games, right? The Giants haven't played many, but so 1 o'clock on Sunday. Gotta love it. So, guys, whoever spends any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody spends any time watching a replay, just once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!